Hi friends, it's Jenny. And I don't know if you remember when I got my Pandahall order as part of that collaboration over the summer, there was this pack of just mixed glass beads, and I thought it was just going to be this random assortment of beads, but it ended up being all of these like really cool petals and leaves. Well, I divided them up into kind of colorways and pairs and kind of stuck them in my organizer and knew that I'd probably come back to it at some point, but it feels like now is the right time. Like, look at all of these beautiful orange and red and purplish tones. I don't know about you, but where I live, some of the fall colors are purple. And so, you know, as some of the leaves darken and stuff like that. And so I thought it'd be really fun to play with those. And then here's where I had some kind of one-off ones. And I was thinking maybe I do something like this as kind of like a central or focal one. But what about doing kind of like a cha-cha necklace? That's what I'm thinking. So a whole bunch of these leaves and stuff, only one that's really like separate on its own, but otherwise just kind of make this fun bangly cha-cha style necklace using all of this combination of the bolder, because I've got some lighter toned pinks and stuff here that those would be fun for fall. I'm probably going to be doing some rose gold, so I'm going to get some of this rose gold clasp. I'm going to get 2 out in case I decide I want to do a bracelet as well, because I have a lot of those little leaves and petals. And then I thought I'd use this rhodochrosite, these rhodochrosite chips. I think these were rhodochrosite. I'll have to go back and look, but the correct description of these chips will be in the description of this video, as will links to all of these items that I'll be using. And then I don't know if I'm probably going to finish with a little bit of chain, and this is a large thing of chain. There we go. There's an end. As long as I can find an end, I'm good. So we've got our rose gold chain, and I might use some of these other beads as accents, like this cherry quartz might be fun. Let me get some of that on my mat. Just to play around with. But then I also like that this mix here has some really great kind of earthy tones that could go really well with this as well. So I'm going to get some of these out, not necessarily all of them, kind of picking and choosing. I may use some of these kind of crackle beads. Oh, sorry, that was off where I was grabbing right here. So get out some of these, like a lot of these are like really crystally colors and nice, and I think I've got some potential ideas for using them later on in more like winter tones, but I like these kind of, they've got a little bit of like a golden shimmer to them as well. So, but since they have some kind of like more muted tones, I thought they might be nice to kind of help ground the design a little bit. So we might use some of these as well in our design. So let me move this out of our way. And I am going to go ahead, and I've got some rose gold jump rings here. I'm going to see how many of these I can just put on the jump rings without having to do much in the way of modification or wrapping, just because I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this. Yeah, I love this. It's like all pinks and peaches and just some nice warm tones for our kind of fall inspired kind of cha-cha bracelet. Sorry, this is my dog. She's decided to wander in, and she'll settle in a minute. That's okay. She's being a good girl. So for tools today, I am going to be using my Casual Comfort plier set. I've got flat nose, wide flat nose, or flat nose, chain nose, and round nose pliers. I'm also going to be using some flesh cutters, and because this is going to be a strong design, I will be using my magical crimper with some soft flex crimp tubes, because these are the best quality for those. And I am going to get my pliers open, and let's see if these jump rings are going to do what I want them to do, and I think they will. thought this was just a slide open. I don't want to have to cut it open. I thought it had a folded over section. It doesn't. I haven't used these yet, as you can probably imagine. Just get my little snippers here. I'll transfer them into another container after I've cut that open. All right. Just get out a few of those jump rings. And take this one that's more like unique. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these petals. They're more opaque and everything else is shimmery and clear, so I'm probably going to take those ones out. But I've got, open it wide enough. Some of these are a little bit thick, so they may not go on the jump rings very well. That was the part about I may need to modify these jump rings a little bit and flatten one end. Yep. I did encounter this when I unboxed this. I made earrings and I used a bunch of these. Let me close this back up and show you what I'm going to do. And then I will probably pause the video and do this for all of them, get them all on jump rings once I've got all of them on. But what you do is here near the split of the jump ring, right? So you've got the split of the jump ring right here. Okay. So you're going to take your chain nose pliers and put them so that they are, you can go in here and then get that split by the edge. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, by the edge of that chain nose plier, and give it a little squish. And what that does is it flattens one part of that jump ring. That's the part that's going to go through this straight hole that's drilled through a thick piece of glass bead. So now when I swing this open, where that split is, I've got a nice flat edge to go through that hole. And then I swing it back into place. And now we have a little jump ring attached that I can string beading wire through. There's not a whole lot of room. But beading wire can go through there. And I'm going to be doing that for all of these petals right here, and leaves. Some of these are leaves, distinctly leaves. Some of them could be leaves or petals. Some of them are petals. It's just a nice combination of colors, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be back. Okay, so I made a slight change to my plan, so I'm going to finish up these last couple with you. I was putting these on, and actually I only had to do the flattening trick on this one. It's the only one that was that thick. The other ones I didn't need to do the flattening trick on, but they were all fairly low holes. And so I decided to add 2 links of my rose gold chain to each of those so that they have a little bit more movement. I wanted them short, that's why there's only 2, and it has to be 2 because I wanted the orientation. If I string this on my beading wire, the orientation will be correct for having those not always go in profile. So they're going to try to go forward instead of in profile. So that is why. So what I've been doing, just to show you the little tricks that I learned as I was doing this, I'm going to move some of these things out of the way so that we get a little bit better focus action. There we go. Less to focus on behind me. What I've been doing is when I open up, and I've been needing to open these fairly wide, these jump rings, just to get to the right position for that hole. And I attach my 2 links of chain first because the leaf is more fiddly to get on, and that way I'm not trying to put the chain on, because trust me, when I made that design decision, I did have to go back and do 6 of them that way. More than 6. I did half of them. I did half of them that way. So putting the chain on first so that it's already on your jump ring, and then getting your leaf or petal. And these are all top drilled front to back. You would use a different method if you had side drilled petals or leaves. But all of these happen to be front to back, so this is what I'm doing on these. And then just close that jump ring really good, because we don't want that chain to slip through. So that's nice and closed. And that one is done. Now this one I haven't added any chain to yet, and I am going to, but I need to decide. There's a couple of things that I want to decide. I've been having all of these go like, so the curve is at the back, and right now my opening is at the front of this, just from when I was trying to do it. I think I'm going to go ahead and open this because I need to open it anyway. I'm pulling it off so that I can reposition it. And I had accidentally cut like a section of 3, and I was like, oh, I'll just use that for the middle one. But remember what I said about needing 3 or an even number of links? I actually need a little bit longer. So I've got my chain here, and I'm going to count out 4 links and then cut the 5th. These were listed as unsoldered links, but I have not been able to open them, so I've just been cutting the links to separate. So there we go. So now we've got 4 links here that we're going to add to this jump ring, and then make sure that I've got it so that the open side, since this one is in a fixed position because of the flattened section, I want the open side at the back of this. So I'm going to go in this way instead of in through the back, which is what I had done before. So what I need to do is hold my jump ring with the flat side open. See? Make sure that that's open nice and wide. Get my chain on. So here's my four links of the rose gold chain. And then I want this to go this way. Whoops, I'm not even near the hole. This way, so that where it opens and closes is at the back, and it will just look nicer. I need to make sure that this is closed very tightly, so again, I don't lose the chain. And this is trickier because I've got the flat part inside, so it's harder to hold onto. To pinch it closed more. Like right now, see there's that little bit of a gap. I don't know if I can get this to focus. There's a little bit of a gap. And what I'm trying to do is, the leaf is in the way, of course, is I'm going to try to just hold it with this way instead of the pliers, and use one set of pliers, these ones. So I'm holding the jump ring with my thumb on the other side of my glass petal. And I'm trying to maneuver this. So this is a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Mainly because I decided to add that chain and we ended up with a little gap in the ring. I don't want to lose the chain. So it's important that we close that gap, but it is proving tricky to do. I'm going to try something else. I've got some nylon jaw pliers here. I'm going to try to pinch it closed just a little bit. There we go. That's what I did. So I just got out some nylon jaw pliers and pinched it closed so that I don't have a gap there anymore. I won't lose the chain. So this one is going to hang just a little bit longer than the other ones because I kind of wanted it to be central to the thing that we're doing. And I was looking, sorry, talk towards the camera even when I turn around. I was looking at my beading wire, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to go with this pink tourmaline, which I think is too dark. I do have pink in this, but I think it's too dark. Or this is the 925 satin silver or sterling silver, and it has a nice pearly sheen to it. And since we've got a lot of really nice sheen on these, I thought this one might be. There is going to be a little bit of this that's going to be exposed, whether it's through cherry quartz if I decide to add them, or when I loop and crimp the wire prior to adding it to the chain to finish the necklace. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. It is one of my favorite colors to use, so we'll use that. All right. Let's get this going. Let me get my rhodochrosite snipped and opened up. I like the size of these chips. They're very small, and with how I'm planning on using them is as spacers in this design, and I think that they're going to be a fun organic way to do that. So they're going to be interesting to work with. Let's see if it works out how I think it's going to work out. I think that these beads might be too big if I am going to really cluster these cha-cha style. I think it might be too big, but I want to see how things look on the strand and then decide if I want to add in any of my accent beads. I also still have some of the glass pearls from the glass pearl mix that I got from Pandahall, but I don't know if I'm going to be bringing pearl into this design. I'm liking these tones. I'm liking these tones together. So I'm going to start with the center. Oh, that was the other thing. I am going to divide up my leaves because while I'm not going to be balancing them exactly the same cross to cross, in fact, there's 3 of these and 3 of these, so I can't. I do want to have a balance of tone on both sides. So instead of having them like actually pairing them off side to side, I am putting at least enough on each side that on either side of this, there's going to be orange, there's going to be the dark purple. And then we've got these 2 extras that I'll just, if I feel like I want to add them, then I'll add them. One of them will have 2 purple and the other one will have a little bit more orange. But either way, we're not leaving any of these color tones off of the sides. So my idea on this was that we have like a rhodochrosite chip. And I probably should have looked that up when I was paused, but I didn't. Pretty sure that rhodochrosite is what I had ordered. Okay. I'm just orienting this so that it opens, scoops like this instead of like this. So, and they'll go any which way just because the chain is going to allow them to do that. So if I do just 1 chip and then another leaf and another chip and another leaf, is that too tight? Or is that giving me the look that I want? That's what I'm checking now. So I'm putting this on, and the only rule I'm giving myself on placing these is that I don't want the same leaf twice in a row. That's the only rule I'm giving myself. If I need more space between these, that's when I'm going to start working in some of the cherry quartz. See, I think that's too close. They just cover each other up too much, which I know is like cha-cha style, but I don't have enough of these to actually go like full cha-cha. So I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to try dropping in a cherry quartz. Actually, here near the front, I'm going to use one of these guys that I thought were really interesting and could add some colors. They'll add just a little bit more space near the, focal one, if you want to call it that. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to like this better. Not fully cha-cha style. Sorry, guys. They're going to have some space. And I put that one backwards. Because that is possible to do because I am getting picky about the direction that they hang. You don't have to. that's how I'm doing. I like that a little bit better, giving myself a little bit of space. So I think I'm going to go ahead and repeat that. I'll do the, let's see, I just did that one there. I'll do this one on the other side. I'm going to do some of these ones, like just different color tones, like maybe this one next, and kind of have that maybe 3 on each side, and then we'll switch to the cherry quartz. So that's kind of how I'm feeling on it. So we've got that, and then we put one of these beads on, those crackle bead mixes. Again, I'll make sure the correct one for what I'm using is in the description in case you want it as well. We do have a coupon code if you want to get some money off. We have a coupon code at Pandahall. We were actually just talking about Pandahall the other night when we were doing our, I think it was when we were doing our bead along actually, from our celebration. And I was wearing the bracelet that I had made earlier. And we had some good conversations about some of the great deals there. So you want to check it out. They've got information on their website about shipping details and, you know, if tariffs apply, what to expect there. So let's do another one of these. Actually, I want to do a different one entirely. We'll do that. So they're all 3 different on each side. I am matching them on the other side though. So, and see, they do keep flipping, but that's okay. They can flip. I'm kind of liking this. So we've got a lot of fun leaves, and depending on how long we make this necklace, it's still going to be super dangly. Maybe not exactly cha-cha style, but we're going to go for dangly leaves and petals. And I am liking these rhodochrosite as spacers. I think they're nice, and it adds that little bit of like organic feel to what we're doing here. Let's get a purple on here because I haven't done a purple yet. Oh, actually, before we do that, nope, yep, purple. Nope. It felt like I was doing that the wrong way. I was overthinking it and I twisted it. So stringing on bits of chain is a little bit more fiddly than just stringing beads, just in case you wanted to know. And then I'm going to start doing these cherry quartz. They take up a little bit less space than those crackle beads. And I want to do this long one. I've got a long one on each side as well. I didn't want them at the end of the pattern. I wanted them kind of mixed in. I think this is fun. I think it's cute. A little bit more finicky to string and a little bit of prep with getting the jump rings and segments of chain on each of them, but I think I like the dangle. I like the movement. So I think that was a really good choice, and it also allowed me to do the chips and use them the way I wanted to without cluttering or crowding our leaves and petals. I think it's about time for another orange one. And I may end up mirroring this pattern on both sides. It's possible. Just because I can only, my brain will only go so random. I try. I've done a lot of attempts with that lately, and it's been good, but let me get these scooted down. I've got too much too much loose wire on this side. Becoming a little bit cumbersome. But look how fun this is. It's just fun. And the cherry quartz do blend in quite a bit with the chips, but I don't think that I mind that. Oops, not time for a chip or a cherry quartz again. It is actually, whoop, and I forgot a chip there. Something felt wrong on the pattern. I found it. So I needed a chip before that leaf and had forgotten to do it. All right, one of these guys. Oops. This is just something fun and different. I haven't done anything like this before. I mean, I've done leafy patterns and stuff, but I haven't done this. Like I said, it felt like a good time. It's finally in the 70s in Texas. It is so not sweater weather, friends. But I want fall. My leaves are finally starting to turn. I've got an oak tree in the front of my house. And I can see a few brown leaves, just a few. Most of them are still green. So, yeah. I'm ready for fun fall colors. Okay, and now I need to decide. So this would be half the cha-cha length. Well, dangly length. Should probably stop calling it cha-cha since I'm not, well, they do cluster fairly close together. And if I make this like especially when you look at like this length of it, the way they all just kind of flow together. I don't know, friends. You tell me in the comments. Did this qualify cha-cha enough? Or not really? We'll see. I think I am going to go ahead and use those two other ones. So one side's going to get purple and the other one's going to get orange. I think I want purple on this side. So I put the extra orange one on the other. And this is why I can't make perfectly symmetrical patterns with them, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and get one more on each. And then we'll crimp this side because I'm going to finish with chain. So once the side is done, it's done. I'm going to get another chip. And then just because they're a little bit less delicate than the chips, I think I am going to go ahead and end this pattern with one of the cherry quartz so that I can crimp next to that. I like it. I like it. That's a good start. I'm going to finish this with chain, so that's going to be fun, but we've got all kinds of delightful petals and leaves. I'm just checking to make sure that they're oriented the right way, even if they flipped right now, and making sure that that's because the chain twisted and not because I put it on wrong. Because for the most part, I want them to naturally go the right way. Okay, grabbing my crimp tubes, and then I'll demonstrate the magical crimper. what you do is you go ahead and put your crimp tube, so that's meant to be with 0.018, 0.019 beading wire, and it only works with 2x2 crimp tubes. And you want to make sure that you've got one that has a nice thick wall and no seam. Otherwise, it won't work. It will just crumble. I'm just feeding the wire back through that crimp tube, scooching it down. I just want a small loop here because I'm going to be attaching it to the chain. Actually, I'm going to attach it directly to the chain. I was going to attach it with jump rings, but I don't think so. I'm going to attach this end directly to the chain. And then when I go to crimp the other side, I will estimate how much chain I need and go from there. All right. Oops. All right. So I've got my chain attached. I've got my crimp tube and just a small little loop. And I'm just going to crimp, make sure it's centered, and it will pinch down the 4 corners of that crimp tube, make it kind of a little ravioli shape, and then turn it 90 degrees from where you were, so it's straight up and down. Hard to see because the chain is in the way, but crimp it again, and then you just rotate it around and keep giving it little crimps, little squishes, rotate it, squish it some more. You know that it's done when it's formed itself into a nice smooth ball, and it no longer gives you resistance when you go to crimp it. So it just looks like a little copper bead. And you can snip right up to it if you want. I think I will, just because I don't want, this does go back over it, but I don't want it to come loose and poke at me. So what I do is I just go ahead and snip it, because like, look, that's strong, that's holding. And it will continue to hold whether or not you snip the end. So I did. Okay, so I know how much room I need for stringing, because I'm going to string the same number of beads and chips on the other side. And so I'm just going to fold this back, give myself about 2 inches for room to make my crimp and any possible adjustments I might need to make, and just snip that so I can get the rest of this wire out of the way. All right, and then I just continue. I'm just going to mirror what I did here, except that I'm going to be grabbing the leaves in a slightly different order so that it's not super matchy side to side. So we'll see how that goes. I may just have to accept that they will be matchy side to side and just end with one orange and one purple, but I'll see. I'll see if I can, yeah, I'll see if I can do it. We will see, we will see. Because this is pink, so I want to do orange, especially since I've got 4 oranges. So I am going to be doing another orange right here. That's just the way that's going to work out. This one is a different shape. Maybe I do the different shape on that one so that we aren't extremely matchy. And this one. guys, it's gonna end up being matchy-matchy. It's okay. It's okay. Do this one. It is a little bit of an adjustment switching from left to right hand for stringing this because I'm wanting it to go a certain way, and so I'm like trying to hold things the right way to do that. Do this one. Yeah. Sorry, and I'm off camera. Let me adjust my mat and adjust my hand position so that I'm back on screen. So sorry. I have a tendency to go where my work is instead of shifting my work. That's not great for demonstration. So sorry. So sorry. All right, now we're gonna start doing. Yeah, it's time for the cherry quartz. Did that thing again that I did on the other side where I forgot a chip. Fixing that. And I'm not being like super picky on the chips either. I'm just like whatever I grab. There's so much variety and shape. And I want that organic feel, so we're getting it. We are getting it. If I plant my elbows in a certain position on the desk, I'm a lot more likely to stay in camera. So I'm just trying to remember to do that and to keep that. The car driving by just reminded me, because I know that my camera picks up like neighborhood noises. There's definitely some neighborhood noises. While I was paused, a neighbor was doing yard work and it was really loud, and I'm like, man, I hope they stop before I go back on. And they did. It was like the perfect timing. I was like just about on my last one and they stopped. I'm like, well, let's hope they don't start up again. And so far they haven't. So I have no control over neighborhood noises. I don't have my window open, so I can't really fix it, I guess. Guys, look how cool this is. I am loving all the shimmery shine to this. I love the pink base that we're giving it with the chip beads and the cherry quartz. I'm pretty happy about this, my friends. I just am. And I managed to get these sides different enough that you're not looking for the matching pairs, even though like tonally we do start similarly here. the idea is to not have it be exactly the same. And it's not. It's not. And it's not going to be. So I'm going to do another orange one here. And I've actually shifted my mat a little bit because I was showing you what I had so far. Oh, too soon for that. Needed a cherry quartz there. I am glad that I'm adding that little bit of space because it gives them room to breathe. I think I could probably still call this cha-cha style. Maybe. All right, I'm gonna do this guy and then end with the pink. So. Oh, this is fun. This is fun. And I was thinking I might make this more of like a 20-inch necklace. Becky and I both wear necklaces fairly short, but I want this to have that flow and that drape. And if you don't give it room to drape, then it's not going to have the same effect. So I'm going to go probably for about a 20-inch necklace. And I am talking through this because I am about to be cutting this chain to accommodate that so that I can and then I did, after my last leafy petal, I did one chip and a cherry quartz before I crimped. That sounds about right. Oh guys, this is cute. Okay, let me move some of these things. I mean, just look at how fun this is. I'm going to put this up in my hand so you can see just the flow and dangle, and they just want to go wherever they want to go, and they're super cute. Yeah, okay, I'm liking this. So let me get this crimped, and then I'm going to get my measuring tape out, and I'm going to measure what we have for our strung length and figure out how much chain we need to finish it up to 20-inch. We're going to have a tiny bit of space for the clasp itself. I ended up using all of these lovely leaves and petals for the necklace. I'm probably not going to be making a bracelet today. We're just going to end with the necklace, and I think that that's going to be perfect. So I'm actually not crimping this yet because I need to figure out how much length I need so that I can crimp directly to the chain. So I've got my little tape measure and my strung length. My strung length is 9 1/4. Sorry, that was upside down. For those who want to read it right side up. Yep, about 9 1/4. So if I want a 20-inch necklace, is 20 too long? Let's see. Because that would be almost another, like if we do, because it's 9 1/4 and I've got room for my clasp, then if this is going to be a 20-inch necklace, then you're talking at least 10 inches of chain. Okay, so I'm going to hold this at the point where that would be 10 inches of chain and see if I would want it that long. Nope, that's actually right where I want it. So I'm going to do 10 inches of chain. I should have put a bead stopper on that, but I didn't. Thankfully, yeah, I'll untangle this later. I'm thinking 10 inches of this chain. And this is the chain that I got from Pandahall. I really like it. It's a really nice toned rose gold. Sometimes rose gold is not a very nice tone, or it doesn't match other rose gold tones. And I remember when I first got this and I was unboxing it, I told all of you how much I liked that it matched the other rose gold items in the order. And it does. It absolutely does. But it also matches these jump rings that I got from another source entirely perfectly. So this is a really nice toned rose gold. I like it. And I'm just going to snip at 10 inches. All right, so that is our chain length. And I'm going to crimp the other side directly to this chain. I'll cut it in half when I'm getting ready to do the clasp bit. And just get this folded back over. And there's a couple things that I do differently when I'm doing the last crimp. The first thing that I do differently is that because I don't have all this room, because I, string on the spool and I don't have a fixed point for the middle, I am able to, on the first one, do the crimp without being right up against a bead. But in this case, I do need to be up against this bead. So because of that, I snug it down, I get my loop the size that I want it, but I'm holding a little bit of space right here with my thumbnail. Just holding a little bit of space so that when I crimp, I'm not crunching the bead next to it. So that's the first thing that I do differently. The second thing that I do differently is I go ahead and make my first squeeze, and then I don't pull it out because I don't need to show you the ravioli. I just rotate it. So now it's 90 degrees from where it was, straight up and down, and I squeeze again. And the reason that I do that is because I find that it's easier to keep it centered in the tool if I don't remove it from the tool. So as someone who had been learning and trying to do this, and look at how pretty that is. Perfect little ball of crimp. And just snip right up to it. Okay, so then we've got our necklace, and I've got this is about half the chain for each side. I'm going to snip this, and I am using my memory wire cutters to snip the chain. Snipping the chain, and then I'm going to use 2 more jump rings. One of those jump rings is going to act as the loop that our toggle clasp is going to connect through. And the other one, yep, that opens nice. And the other one is going to actually just connect our toggle clasp to the chain. So this is very easy, and we are almost done, friends. I think this is a fun necklace. And because I made all those earrings at the beginning of my collaboration with Pandahall, I have earrings that already match and will go with these pretty leaf and petal, because I used them when I did that. So I don't even have to make new earrings for this. I can just enjoy them. So one side is going to have the chain and the clasp. I like to put my fiddly bit on the right, and with me orienting all of those leaves and petals, I just checked to make sure that I had this the right way, and it is. So this is the right side, so it's also going to have the lobster claw. So chain and lobster claw, and then get this lovely little jump ring closed nice and snug so that our chain doesn't slip through. And then this one is just going to get the jump ring. Don't use your cutters to open your jump ring. They were in the wrong position, so I was grabbing my memory wire cutters. Don't do that, friends. It's not effective. All right. Let's get this finished up. Make sure you check the description. I've got links to all of the products from Pandahall that I used, as well as our coupon code that you can use to place your own order at Pandahall. This has been a really fun collaboration, and I'm glad that they invited us to participate in it. I did, full confession time, I did forget that I still needed to do one more video. And so here is my video, but it's actually ended up being perfectly timed for this much more fall themed design with this cha-cha style necklace. And because this is so heavy and busy on this end, that's the other reason why I wanted to end it with chain. I hope that you liked this. Like I said, check the description for all the relevant goodness. And we will, as always, happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye, friends.